Yo, this is PH. It's March the 6th. I'm at Hunt Library in NC State. They have a studio here that I have access to. And once again, they upgraded the equipment in here, and it took me 20 minutes to figure out what the hell was really going on. But it's lit now. I'm in here. We in here. And what I'm about to do is I'm about to just record some NBA talk right now, because I'm pulling up, like, in front of me I got a computer where I'm pulling up the East and the Western Conference, the standings. And I'm just gonna talk about some of these teams, man. Like, I'm not even really, it's not like I've prepared, like, written something down. I'm just telling you what I think of. The first thing I think about when I see these teams that's at the top of these conferences in the NBA. So I'm gonna record it here into this mic as it's being recorded into the podcast, so that you can listen to it on the podcast, which is done on a different program here. But we killing two birds with one stone. Not killing two birds. I don't want to kill birds. Shout out to all the animal lovers. But it's basically two birds. Two things are being done at once. It's multitasking. That's what it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit record right here as it counts me in. And I'm going to just look at these teams and go. Starting with the East, Milwaukee Bucks, first team. They have the best record in the league. They're 53-9. Giannis is going crazy this season. He's up for MVP. If LeBron James doesn't get it, he's going to get it. If you're a Milwaukee Bucks fan, you're hyped. You feel like you can win the East. Kawhi is no longer in the East. He's in the West now with the Clippers. So you really feel like you can win. I mean, Boston doesn't have Kyrie anymore, even though they do have good players. Toronto is going to be a good team, but we've yet to see what Siakam can do with his own team now, because it's really him. Shout out to all the other players. I know that Kyle Lowry is a baller. I understand he's on the other side of his career at this point, but I know he's there. I know Serge Ibaka is there. But I feel like the Bucks feel like they can win the East right now. I know they do. And if you look at their record, it looks like they're going to win it. Heat going to be tough for them because they got a lot of players that are not scared. They're going to play defense. Shout out to Jimmy Butler. But the Bucks, 53-9, they're on pace. They can almost get to 70 wins. I don't think anybody taking them serious when it comes to the kind of team that they are, but they need to, because they can get you out of here in the series immediately. They have, like, the best player in the league, second best player, probably outside of LeBron for sure right now. I mean, I know Kawhi was balling. You can shout out to Kawhi. It's your preference, but I'm telling you right now, Greek Freak, he just got the MVP. He's one of the best players in the league. That's a no-brainer. He's going to lead that team pretty far when the playoffs come. And if you don't stop him, he's going to continue to get wins. The problem is, do we trust? If there is a problem, do we trust Eric Bledsoe in the playoffs? I don't. Hopefully he proves all of us wrong. You know, last year's playoffs, he couldn't make a three. They really needed him. But at the end of the day, I like the Bucks. Really, they can come out of the East. But the East going to be interesting after the Bucks, because the number 2 team is Toronto. Like I just said, they got Pascal Siakam. He was hurt a little bit, but he was an all-star starter this year. So you're not an all-star starter if you're not balling. Like, he's been balling all year. Got to give him his credit. He's definitely the guy now. After Kawhi Leonard is now gone, decided to go to the Clippers, Siakam is the guy now. Lowry has playoff experience. Ibaka has playoff experience. There's a lot of players that have playoff experience on that team. Van Fleet, and they're deep. And they got good wing players that play defense. So Toronto Raptors will be around. They're second in the East for a reason. Boston Celtics are at third. Jason Tatum is balling. It's going to be his team going forward. Gordon Hayward's a great player. Well, he's a good player now. He's been injured. Jaylen Brown, also a good player. 2 young players that I think Danny Ainge did a great job as the GM for Boston. Picking up Jason Tatum, picking up Jaylen Brown, still keeping Marcus Smart. Um, and Kemba Walker, man, in the offseason. Another person that is ball dominant like Kyrie was, but it's a little bit different. Like we know what Kyrie did in that locker room. Kemba, you ain't got to worry about him doing that in the locker room. He's just players type of guy. Like they like him, so it's gonna work out. I think they're gonna be a tough out in the playoffs. They can easily beat any of the teams that I just told you, but they have to get good play from Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown consistently. They got to get that consistently because we can't be counting on Gordon Hayward in the playoffs. We don't know what he's gonna bring. You really can't count on Jason Tatum in the playoffs if you think about what he did last year, because he was another player that couldn't hit a three in the playoffs last year. Also, Kyrie played a big part in that too. Acting like he couldn't make any shots after game one. But I like their team. They're deep, and they play defense too. So, how consistent will they be in the playoffs? That's what it's going to come down to. Miami Heat, 4th team in the East. Jimmy Butler finally got his money. Happy to be there, playing well. He's been injured, but that's not a surprise. Like, he's going to miss some games. Tyler Hero, good young player. I like him. Still got Dragic. I like him. I mean, this team is deep. They play defense. Kendall Nunn is a rookie. Nobody was expecting to ball out, but he's showing you right now, I'm here and I'm a ball out. So get ready for me. Made it to the U.S. Versus the World game. I don't think people had that on the radar. So shout out to that young kid from Chicago, Kendall Nunn. Excuse me, Kendrick Nunn. I used to play wide receiver with Kendall Nunn. Shout out to him at Shaw U. Philadelphia 76ers. They're at 5th. Injuries. Ben Simmons is hurt and Embiid is hurt. I expect them to go nowhere. Shout out to everybody that came into that team after the fact. Tobias Harris, Richardson. But if Simmons is hurt and Embiid is hurt, when the playoffs come, they're going home. And if they go home by getting swept or anything like that, you might be seeing a new coach for them next season. Brett Brown, them getting hurt has probably helped him, because if they would have been healthy and then they got right out the playoffs, they would have fired Brett Brown. I'm staying with that take. I really feel that way. But if they were healthy, they could win the East very easily. I think a lot of people would like to see them versus the Bucks. But because everybody's hurt and Embiid's hurt, Ben Simmons got a back injury, I don't see it happening. Pacers are at 6, Brooklyn is at 7, Orlando Magic is at 8. Just so you know, anything down there we're not worried about. Washington Wizards at 9, Hornets at 10. We're not worried about that. These are teams with bad management. Shout out to the Pacers. They're always like right there. Malcolm Brogdon. They'll be there and make it tough for somebody in the playoffs, but nobody's expecting them to win a championship. We ain't got to worry about that. So, let me move on to the West. That's how I feel about the East. Any of those teams can win. But Milwaukee Bucks, don't sleep on them. They got that record for a reason. Western Conference. Lakers are the number 1 team. They have LeBron James, who is up for MVP. Might be the best player. And he's 35. So it's like, damn, how is he doing this at 35? But still balling. You can watch my podcast before this one, or a couple weeks ago that I did, where we really need to appreciate LeBron James a lot more. Anthony Davis, the best big man he ever played with. It's going to be his team going forward. He's the best big man in the league. It's not even close to me. Anthony Davis is the best big man. He just got to stay healthy, which is something he's never done. But I think that when the playoffs come, if he's on the floor, you can count on him. The question is, when that backup unit comes in for the Lakers, the backup point guard, what you going to do? It's going to be Rondo. It's going to be Caruso. Is Kuzma going to put up points for him? Because they're going to end up playing some teams that have wing defenders, like the team that's in second, the Clippers, who have Kawhi and Paul George. And they just added one of the Morris twins. And they just added Joakim Noah. That happened literally, I think, today. They're getting all these players, the foul Bron, the foul AD, make it tough for them, all these tough guys, which is cool. You already got Patrick Beverly, so we know what kind of team the Clippers are bringing to the table. It's like, it's going to be tough on defense to play against us. As I move to them, you got Lou Will still, and you got Montrezl Harrell coming off the bench. So they pretty much got like they got a powerhouse type of team that's deep. The problem is Paul George been hurt all season, so they ain't really played with each other. They ain't really had that time to like get the real chemistry that they need.